All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks. I hope you had a good chance to stretch your legs there. Uh, Next, we're going to hear from Matt Paulson, who is one of our leads in the government sector. He's from IdeaScale, and he's going to give you a tutorial on how to utilize the IdeaScale technology in the way that Nadia had previously told you about in her section. So I think without further ado, I'll hand it over to Matt to demo that technology.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you everyone for coming back, for joining us for the second portion of this webinar. First off, I also want to thank Nadia also for her great talk on innovation in healthcare and the importance of innovation in healthcare. So as Jessica mentioned, I'm going to do sort of a broader demo of what you can do within IdeaScale, who we are, how we work, that sort of thing. I'm also going to show you how easy it is to set up a community right out of the box. I'm also going to show you some great use cases of challenges that have been run within IdeaScale and some of my conversations with our friends at NIH and HHS. I've sort of come to the conclusion that challenges are definitely a big focus in FY15, so I want to show you how you can accomplish that within IdeaScale. And then I'm going to connect some of Nadia's larger points or sort of higher level points that she discussed in her presentation to how you can accomplish those things within the platform. And then finally, you have all these great ideas. What do you do with them? So we have some assessment architecture within IdeaScale that helps you figure out which ideas would be the best to implement to maximize your ROI. So I'm going to show you how to use those as well. But first, sort of a broader demo of IdeaScale. So here on your screen, you see PhoneCo Foundry. PhoneCo is sort of our demo community. It's our fake company. PhoneCo doesn't actually exist. You can't change your mobile service provider to PhoneCo. If you do, please let us know because that would be news to us. So here, when you look into the PhoneCo community, you see what we call a custom landing page. So a custom landing page, we highly recommend using them. Basically, it's a blank canvas that allows you to put whatever you would like on that custom landing page, welcoming folks into your community. It's a way of organizing your information in a very clear, concise way. So here, if you look at PhoneCo's page, you see a very simple welcome message, just a couple of a short paragraph about what this is about. You see also they've clearly defined their goals here. Which, as Nadia mentioned, is something that's very, very important to any innovation effort. If we scroll down a little bit here, you see that they have a short video clip from the CEO of Nike on innovation, and then also we have a version of the innovation funnel, which Nadia mentioned as well. So now that I've easily digested all this information, I know clearly what is expected of me. I can go into the site and check it out. So we click into View Ideas here. And here you see basically the homepage for the PhoneCo IdeaScale community. The first thing that you're going to see are basically a list of ideas. So if we scroll down here, you can see a few examples. Now I wanted to show you there's a few different ways that we organize ideas within any IdeaScale community. So you see here we have new product ideas and money-saving ideas Q3. These are what we call campaigns. Campaigns are essentially the smaller efforts within the larger innovation effort. So if we go over here on the right, you can see your campaign menu. So these are all the campaigns that are being run within the PhoneCo IdeaScale community. Now we organize campaigns on a little bit more specific level. If you looked here, we have executive challenges. These are what are called campaign groups. They're essentially subheads that organize the campaigns that we have running into a little bit more specific buckets, I guess. So here you see we have 3 challenges running. You can see that they've put an expiration date that helps create a sense of urgency. And then also if you look at the departmental campaign group, you can see there's quite a few different departments that have specific campaigns running for them. These would be more of your open ideation efforts. How can we be better? And people are able to drop them into the buckets that they're pertaining to, the department that they're pertaining to. So that's one way we organize the information. The other way, you've probably noticed when we click into the homepage, are these tabs. You see we have three of them right here. It defaults to landing on the popular tab. The popular tab, as you might have guessed, are the most popular ideas. We find the most popular ideas by what's called the feedback score. And the feedback score is simply upvotes minus downvotes. So if you see right here, this has had 15 upvotes, 1 downvote, we have a score of 14. And also we have our recent tab. Recent tab, as you might have guessed, are the most recently posted ideas. And then we have the random tab. The random tab was developed for organizations who have already done their ideation and they're just basically doing voting. What the random tab allows is it shows a different assortment of the ideas each time a user clicks back into it. So the most popular and the most recent ideas aren't getting all of the exposure and therefore probably most of the votes. So that's another way that we organize ideas here on the homepage. Another one is status. So one of the main complaints of folks when they get feedback, whether it's employee feedback, citizen feedback, is that they're asked for their feedback and they take the time to respond. They really care about these ideas. They really care about the organizations that they're giving them to. But as far as they're concerned, they just sort of drop into a black hole and they never hear from or about anything about these ideas again. So what we have are what's called statuses, and these ones are sort of out of the box. You see in review, in progress, and completed. This is a way of routing the ideas through to completion right there on the front end, right there in front of the users. It's completely transparent. The idea is to provide a much more rewarding experience for the idea submitter when they can actually see what's happened with their ideas. So if I click on in review here, you can see that they're organized basically the same way they were when we were on all active ideas, but you'll see down here that they have been routed into in review. And the final way that we organize ideas are through tags. Tagging within IdeaScale works pretty much the same way it does most other places. Users can tag ideas with certain keywords. There are some other flexibilities that go along with that, which I will actually cover in a few minutes. But basically, this is called the tag cloud. These are the tags that people are most discussing. If you were to click on any one of these words, it would organize the ideas again the same way it did when we clicked into in review with these same tabs and everything. So that's basically what your users will see. What I wanted to touch on a little bit now is what your users will be doing. So when you look into as far as the behaviors that they'll be doing on your homepage, one of the most intuitive one is voting. So as mentioned before, they can vote ideas up or they can vote ideas down. They can do it right here on the homepage. One thing to keep in mind as administrators is you can actually take away the ability to vote down if you only want sort of the positive reinforcement. The second thing that you want them to be doing is commenting. So we'll click into what's called the idea detail screen. When you click into this, you can see all the information about the idea. You can also see the full description. When we scroll down, you can basically see everything that's happened with this idea, who's voted, how. You can see similar ideas. The events are when the idea's status has been changed. But what I really want to highlight is the comments. So the comments, again, sort of like the tags, work very similar to most places on the internet. It allows users to have a conversation right there on the front end about the idea. You can also reply to a comment. You can vote a comment up and you can vote it down, and sort of like the popular tab on the homepage, this allows the best comments to float up to the top. Also, as administrators and moderators, there's another thing that you can do. You can post private comments. What that allows is you as a group can have a private conversation right there on the front end about this idea. And obviously, it's not viewable to visible to any of your end users. And the third thing that you want your users to be doing, in order of how I've done them, but probably in order of importance, this is one of the most important, if not the, because without ideas, you don't can't really innovate. There's no ideation. So you want them to submit new ideas. So if we click into the Submit New Idea, this is our idea submission form. Every idea is going to have a title. Every idea is going to have a description. This campaign drop-down menu obviously allows your users to choose which bucket to drop their idea into. You can also change on the back end what the default campaign is that shows up when users click into it from the home page here. So I'm just going to choose new product ideas. So tags, as I mentioned before, there are a few different ways of doing tags. You can make it wide open. So basically your users can input any word that they want. You can also predefine them. So if you have 10 tags that you want all users to tag their ideas with, then you can predefine those and load those beforehand. And then you can also do a hybrid, which basically is you have all your predefined tags, and then also it's open-ended for users to tag their ideas with whatever keywords they can dream up. Add team member, I'm going to talk a little bit more about later. Your users can also add a file. They can add images, PDFs, presentations. As far as videos, we obviously don't like to host those because they're pretty big, so there's actually a different way of doing that. You can embed YouTube videos in an idea, and the way you do that is something called custom fields, which brings us over to the right here. So custom fields are basically wide open. It's a way of gathering a little bit more information about either the idea submitter or the idea being submitted. So we have a couple set up here in our PhoneCo community. Which group can best execute on this idea? So this was basically a title to the custom field. This was set up by the administrators. And when you click into this, you can see that there's 5 choices and you choose one. That's one option for how you answer the custom fields. You can also do a URL. You can also do a YouTube video, which is how you would embed, allow users to embed a YouTube video in their idea submission. Single line text, a bigger text box. We even have a zip code field. There's quite a few different things that you can do with the custom fields. One other thing about custom fields is you can make them global, which means they go with every campaign that you run, or you can make them campaign specific. If you notice, when I click out of that campaign, this one is obviously global, and then these two are campaign specific for new product ideas. So that's pretty much what just a brief demo of what you can do with an IdeaScale, how it works, and then what your end users will be doing. Now I wanted to take a few minutes and show you how easy it is to set up a community right out of the box. So we're going to change communities here. Let's go into Matco. This is my demo community, and I'm going to go create a new community. So this is essentially the interface that you'll see when you're creating a new community. The first thing you set is your company name. Well, we're NIH, aren't we? There we are. Feedback community name. What do we want to call our community? Well, we're going with NIH Rocks because it does, right? However, it could rock a little bit more, which is why we're here. The URL. You're going to set the URL for your community. Every community out of the box is blank.ideascale.com. You also have the ability to set up a custom domain if you want to brand your website, your IdeaScale community the same as your existing site. So we're just going to go with NIH Rocks again. I've obviously tried this before. Campaigns. So these are the 3 campaigns that we have set up right out of the box: website, products, and customer service. I don't love them for government. I don't think they translate that well, so I'm just going to get rid of those, and I'm going to add one campaign called cost-saving ideas. You pick whether your community is public or private. So here, a public community obviously is searchable, and also anyone can go in and see what's going on within the community. Regardless of whether it's public or private, folks do need to authenticate to participate in the community. What does that mean? They have to register either through IdeaScale, or they can authenticate with a variety of different social media platforms. But we're going to make this private for now. Private means it's not searchable. Also, it means you do have to log in to participate. You need to join the community. And there's quite a few different ways of controlling who gets into the community, and I'll expand on that a little bit later. So I'm going to agree to the terms of use because I follow the rules. And look, NIH Rocks has been created. So the first thing that you'll see when your community has been created is the administrator dashboard. We have quite a few different names for this: admin panel, community settings. We use them all interchangeably. So I apologize in advance if I use different words for it. I'm talking about the same thing. So right away, again, we see this handy dandy checklist. It's just basically a checklist to help you get started in setting up your community. So if we look at this, public or private community, we've already set that. So I'm going to edit the welcome text. So you see it sends me to another part of the admin dashboard, into the UI customization, user interface customization. The look and feel, obviously, as you might have guessed from what it's called, helps you edit the look and the feel of the site, and then also how it behaves. So you see here right at the top, the site HTML pages. These are the pages that will appear within your community. You can edit the text from this section. So header, footer, homepage, a few different other ones. Terms of use, that's one to pay attention to. We have some boilerplate ones right out of the box, but you can edit those for your standard user. Contact page is one of the ones that we have right out of the box as well, because typically that's one that folks use. And then also we have custom pages. So custom pages, the sky's the limit. You can put in whatever you want. These are things like about, FAQs, past successes, those sorts of things. If you're running a contest, perhaps you put a judge's page. So let's click on to edit the homepage. So here you see you can edit the homepage text. It's simple HTML. If you don't know HTML, don't freak out. We have all the code right in there for you. You can just type right in there, or you can cut and paste as well. So I like how we have it, and I'm going to save changes. Cool. So that's done. Let's go check out our site. So here it is. Our NIH Rocks site has been created. So right away, you see here at the top, we have a banner, and then we also have a logo. Right off the bat, I want to change these. So I'm going to go back into my community settings, my admin panel, and I'm going to go back into UI customization and look and feel. And then if we scroll down here, we see there's a place that we can change the logo. I'm going to upload my own. Cool. So my logo has been uploaded. One of the two, both. So the banner also, I don't love the one that we have, but the one I really like is this nice cityscape. I found that right off the bat, but you can see, if you see the scroll bar here, you can see we have quite a few different choices. You can also upload your own, and if you click on the help article here, it'll show you the specifications of how big it needs to be. So I'm going to pick our cityscape and save the changes and go back to the home. And here we go. We have our NIH Rocks community with a much more patriotic logo, and then also our nice evening cityscape. So here we see the homepage text that we had left. If you edit that, or if you don't, this is where it'll show up. You see over here on the right, how does it work? This is sort of our out-of-the-box explanation of how an IdeaScale community works at its simplest. You see the usage statistics. They're fairly self-explanatory as well. When you do create more campaigns, if you click into those campaigns, these usage statistics that you'll see will be specific to that campaign. So speaking of campaigns, here's our campaign that we set up, cost-saving ideas. So I'm going to go in actually and manage that campaign. So here, this is basically the same interface that you'll see if you create a new campaign. The cost-saving ideas has just already been populated. So with any campaign, you can set a start time or an end time. We want to save money, and we want to save money now. So I'm going to end this at the end of August. We really want these ideas now. Let's create some urgency. So you can add a description as well. Let's save some money, folks. Also, you can add instructions for the idea submission form. So when folks click into that submit new idea form, they will see some instructions in red right at the top of the idea submission form above the title, giving them some more instruction on what they are supposed to be doing. So we'll just reiterate. How can we save some money in FY15? Campaign group I mentioned before. Those are those sort of subcategories. I only have one campaign, so it's not really necessary. So I don't actually have any of those. You can also restrict who gets into the campaign based on an IP range. So you just put the range in here, and anyone not outside of that IP range won't be able to access it. Campaigns can also be private, and I'll go into more detail on that a little bit later. But we're going to make this one public. We're going to keep it open. And then also you can choose whether or not to allow voting on a campaign level. We developed this pretty much because sometimes folks like to do ideation first and then shut off the ideation and then I'll just allow the voting, or perhaps ideation, no voting, and then more ideas, turn on the voting. Regardless, there's quite a few different uses for IdeaScale, and what we want to do is make it as flexible as possible. So we developed the ability to turn on or off voting on the campaign level. I'm going to leave it on because I want to do it all in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and update that campaign and quit the admin mode. So now I have this first idea. This is just one that's automatically generated right out of the box. So I'm actually going to delete that because that's not really an idea. So that has been deleted, and I'm going to submit a new one. So here you see that we have our instructions right here. How can we save some money in FY15? We have our title. Let's go paperless. I want to go green in 2015. So let's go paperless. Everything E. Let's go green. Add a few E's to show how serious I am about it. And then we have our tags here as well. Again, you can turn those on or off. Quite a few different things you can do with those, but I'm just going to leave them blank for now. I'm going to submit my idea. My idea has been submitted. And if we look down here, we see Let's Go Paperless is live. So those are the basics of setting up a community in IdeaScale. We obviously did that in about 10 minutes. That's not what we recommend. What we recommend is you, as Nadia mentioned, you figure out a complete cradle to grave innovation plan and effort. You set your goals, you set your moderation strategy, you figure out how you're going to select those ideas, how you're going to evaluate those ideas. All of those many, many things should be thought about and should be planned in advance. We also suggest that you brand your site with custom CSS. You change the look and feel as you saw in our Funko site. You set up the custom landing page. All of those many, many things. But the idea is it's difficult to take that first step. I always bore my friends with this story, and you guys are all listening to me, so now you're going to get bored with it too. But there's a group of runners called ultra marathon runners. Basically, these are the people who decided that 26.2 miles just wasn't hard enough, so they started running 50, 75, 100, 125. One of the best American ones has this quote that I heard him use in an interview that I really like, and it's the first step is the best step. It's the one where intent meets action. He was obviously talking about training for a 125-mile race, but I think it translates in that this can be sort of an overwhelming experience to look at when you've never done it before. But the idea is take that first step, and it's really easy to do within IdeaScale. You can do it within 10 minutes. And after that, we're at your disposal to help you really, really make this a great innovation effort for your organization and to change it for the better. So now I want to show you some examples of what have been run, some challenges that have been run within IdeaScale. So the first one is the American Energy Data Challenge. I know Nadia mentioned this in her presentation as well, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like in IdeaScale. Again, here when you come in, this is a custom landing page. You see a very simple welcome message, and then just a short paragraph, 2 sentences about what this is about, a 4-part year-long challenge. Down here you see they have a little summary of what's going on right now. Contest number 3 of 4 is happening, Open Data by Design. And then you have a few buttons. Basically, these route people right to where they want to go. The idea here is one of the buzz phrases we always use is lowering the barriers to participation. That's what this does. It allows people to get exactly where they want to go in the fewest amount of clicks. And then up here, these are those custom pages that I was talking about. Most of them are self-explanatory: judges, prizes, rules, FAQs. One I did want to highlight is updates. And I really like this page. It's just short updates on what has happened from the beginning from the launch of this challenge. So if you haven't been back in a while, you can pop back in here, see what's happened. Or if you've never been in, you can come in and get up to speed. So that's the first. And the other one is the ONC Health IT challenges. A lot of you are probably familiar with this. Basically, again, another challenge that Nadia touched on in her presentation. But again, another just really great organization of information via a custom landing page. Very short, clear, easy to digest. Only takes a few minutes to get in here and get up to speed. And again, they have the recent challenges, the things that they've run in the past, a short summary of what happened, and then some links to some more information. And finally, third one I wanted to show you is open dialogue on improving how to do business with the federal government. The interface isn't quite as pretty, I guess, as the other two. However, the reason I wanted to highlight this one was this is another custom landing page, and they started 3 campaigns, and they created 3 buttons right here on the custom landing page that send folks right to those campaign pages. So if you're a contractor who wants to take part in this dialogue, you can come in and look at the 3 different campaigns and see where you want to submit your idea or discuss others. And you can get there simply with one click. So those are a few of the challenges that are on IdeaScale. It took like 3 minutes to go through those, and that's sort of the beauty of it. It's the simplicity of using that custom landing page that makes it really, really easy for folks to get in and use it, and it's not an information overload. So now I want to talk about some of the points that Nadia made in her presentation, and sort of connect it to how you can accomplish that within IdeaScale. So one of the ones she mentioned was get ideas from diverse groups. I totally agree, and that's something that in our discussions with NIH, we've found that that's something that a lot of you are really you're trying to reach out to as many groups as possible and get them to collaborate, because when you get these folks to collaborate, that's how you discover new solutions that you never thought possible. So how do you get them engaged? Well, take our NIH Rocks community. We have 1 user, and to me that's pretty sad. So how do we get some more? We go into our community settings, into member management, and we can do something that's called a bulk upload. So I'm going to get out of presentation mode here, and I'm going to add some members. Well, I put a few email addresses just into a spreadsheet earlier, some of my friends that I want to join me in the NIH Rocks community, so I'm going to add them. So as you can see here, you can add up to 2,000. You can also do this with a spreadsheet. You can just bulk upload an Excel spreadsheet, and there's instructions on how to do that. I'm going to save changes, and then you see I've added 3 people to the community. You'll get this report of what email addresses were good, what weren't, how many went out. What this does, if they are not members of an IdeaScale community already, an email will go out to them basically inviting them back and saying, hey, we got this great thing going on, come join us. Essentially, when they click on that link, it'll send them right to the community and they just have to set up a password, and then they can get into the community and they can participate. If they are a member of an IdeaScale community, it automatically adds them to this community. And so basically it sends an email to them saying you've been added, come check it out. And obviously it's okay. It's easy for them to opt out if they don't want to take part. So that's bulk uploads you can use for both public or private communities. Private communities, as I mentioned before, and this is how we set them up here, there are a few different ways of controlling who can enter a community. So if we go down to security here in our moderation settings, one of them is simply through moderation. So here we have flipped on new members approval. That means that any new member that tries to come in this community, I will be notified as the moderator, as the administrator, and I will have to approve them manually one by one. You can also do that with new ideas or new comments, and that's on a community-wide basis. That's a little bit heavy-handed, probably a little bit extra work if we have a bunch of people coming in. So if you have quite a huge group of folks that you want to come in and take part in your community, and why wouldn't you? There's some easier ways of doing it as well. A little less work for your moderators. Single sign-on. Single sign-on is if you have any sort of company Active Directory intranet where you need credentials to log on, we can integrate with that so they can use those credentials to log on to IdeaScale. Also, we integrate with Yammer, which I know within NIH and HHS is very widely used. You can also do it on email domain. So you can blacklist email domains. You can also auto-approve them. So if you want anyone with an nih.gov email address to get into the community, you can set that up. And then also you can set it up on IP-based access, just like on the campaign basis. This would be community-wide. Again, just put in an IP range, and only folks within that IP range will be able to get in. So what we like you to do, though, is do some sort of hybrid. So between either public or private, and I guess a little more private, you can basically engage a huge group of people, but then you can also engage more specific groups within that group of people with more specific topics or campaigns. And the way that you do that is through something called private campaigns. And I'm going to demo, let's go back to Matco here. So private campaigns. Here, I actually set one up earlier. So I'm going to manage this, and I'm going to click into employee retention. So employee retention. Everyone's been jumping ship, and we can't quite figure out why. So let's try and figure out why, because it's pretty sad. Description, why is everyone leaving? Sad face. We don't like to see people go. So here is where earlier I had mentioned that you can click on private. I've clicked on that. So private campaigns, you can set them up on a couple of different ways. You can upload a list of email addresses, and you can set up a private campaign specifically for that group of email addresses. You can also use something that's called member profile questions. So when folks log on, you can ask them a series of questions that you set up. For instance, I think from Nadia's presentation, you could ask them, are they healthcare workers? Are they caregivers? Are they scientists or researchers? How they answer that question routes them into certain groups. So you see here, I just have sort of general, I've created groups of human resources, communications, IT. So the question would probably be, what department are you in? So anyone who answers that they're in human resources gets sent into this human resources group and will be a part of this private campaign, because I think HR should try and figure out why everyone's leaving. So I'm going to update that campaign and get out of here. And so now employee retention shows up. It shows up for me because I'm the account owner. I'm the administrator. But for anyone who's not a part of HR, they wouldn't see employee retention right here on their interface. So it's a way of running a lot of different things all within the same community. Think back to Nadia's presentation. Think about her slide with all the groups that you want to engage, and then there were the smaller bubbles of like doctors, patients, all those different examples. You could run private campaigns specifically for doctors, specifically for patients. Now, all of those doctors or patients would still be able to participate in any campaigns that were open for the entire community, but they could also be participating in those more specific campaigns. So it's a way of engaging a huge group of people, but also sort of narrowing that engagement based on specialty. So one of the other things that Nadia mentioned was bringing communities together and allowing them to collaborate. We totally agree with this as well. And we do that within the platform through something called team-based submission. Again, this is taking all those people, all these different skill sets, all these different experiences, all these different ways of thinking, and being able to put them together to find solutions that they might not have found otherwise, simply by putting their heads together. So how do you do that within IdeaScale? Thanks for asking, Matt. Typically, you would submit a new idea, but I actually have one that I want to edit. Oops, not there. Here. I have one that I want to edit because I want to add a team. I want to build a team around this. So here you see the idea submission form. It's the same form that you see when you click in to submit a new idea. It's just already populated. So here we have goodie bags. I think we should send goodie bags to our key customers. I think they'd really like that. But I don't want to do it alone because it sounds like a lot of stuff in goodie bags by myself. So I've clicked on allow contributor. I think in PhoneCo it's allow team member, something like that. You can change any language on the site to whatever you want it to read. I just left it at allow contributor. I'm pretty sure that's what it says right out of the box. So I've clicked on that, and then I've also added Matt. I've added my old buddy Matt. He's going to help me stuff these goodie bags. Here is where the idea submitter or a moderator, if they're editing the idea, can add anyone who's a member of the community. They do have to be a member of the community. But basically it allows you to add as many people as you want and build a team. So it's not just one individual submitting the idea. Everyone puts their name on it. There's also an option here to allow others to join the team. Now, if you're doing some sort of challenge or something like that, you probably wouldn't want to allow others to join the team. But if it's something more open-ended where you want to encourage the collaboration, this is a good option. I want everyone to come in and help us stuff goodie bags. Let's all go to the cafeteria one afternoon and let's stuff some goodie bags for our key customers. It'll be fun. It'll be team building. So I'm going to submit. And then you see here again, we have our idea detail screen. And if we scroll down here, you can see contributors. I'm going to expand that. And then you see Matt Paulson is helping me stuff some goodie bags. And then also you see the link for join this team. That's where others can join and help us out. So one of the last things I want to touch on from Nadia's talk is incremental versus disruptive ideas. So as you probably know, incremental versus disruptive ideas are, it's basically when you decide as an organization how you want your innovation portfolio to look. What percentage incremental, what percentage disruptive? Obviously incremental are a little bit safer, a little bit lower reward potentially. Disruptive are a little bit higher risk, potentially higher reward. So how do you do that within IdeaScale? A couple different ways. You could start two campaigns. So you could start two campaigns and just call them incremental versus disruptive. You could also do tags. You could do predefined tags, which I've set up already here, incremental, disruptive. And then if you click into submit new idea, you can see that the two tags populate, disruptive, incremental. And then finally, you can set up custom statuses. So here you see I set up, we have our interview in progress completed, and then also incremental and disruptive. So that's three different ways where you can drop different ideas into those two different buckets. And finally, you have all these ideas. Your entire organization, everyone, the public, everyone that you targeted has come back and they put in all these wonderful ideas. You have thousands of them. How do you figure out which ones you want to implement? That's where our assessment architecture comes into play. So one of the first things that we use in our assessment architecture is something called the assessment tool. So I have an assessment pending. I set this up earlier. Assessment tool, here we have what should we implement? Round one is the title of the assessment. We've had some great ideas rolling in. Which ones should we move on? So I'm going to go ahead and start. So the assessment tool allows you to take a group of ideas, any ideas that you want, and basically put them out to a group that you determine to assess those ideas based on criteria that you set up. So here you see I've just done one idea. We're back to our goodie bags. If you click down here, you can see all the details on the idea, attachments, all the comments, things like that. So then as an assessor, I'm going to look at these criteria and I'm going to rate this idea based on 1 to 5 stars. Either I strongly disagree or I strongly agree. Obviously that won't save us money, maybe in the long run, but it will improve customer retention. So it's easy as that. And then I just click finish. Once I click finish, it goes back to, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. As far as the administrators are concerned, they see the scores, how each assessor voted, and then it gives ideas scores based on how many stars it earned. And as more and more assessors take it, you can see how, the best ideas based on those criteria bubble up to the top. We also have a pairwise tool. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the pairwise method, but basically it takes a group of ideas and puts them, it's a series of head-to-head competitions. So if you were to take a pairwise assessment, you would get 2 ideas. You would vote one or the other. Which one would you rather implement? You would vote, and then you would continue to do that until your assessment is done. And as more and more assessors take it, you'll see what idea tends to be chosen more than whatever one it's going against. And finally, we have a third way of assessing ideas, and it's called review scale. Let me get out of here and bring that up. Now, review scale, we actually did a full 45-minute webinar on review scale. So in the interest of time, I can't go into a whole lot of detail on it, but at its most basic, it's much like the assessment tool in that you as an organization defines the value vectors and the cost vectors, and then you rate the idea against those value and cost vectors. Now, what's the difference? With those cost vectors, you can actually weight them as far as what's important to the organization, and you can change that weighting in case your priorities change, and I'm sure they will. So say one quarter we're concentrating on increasing profit. You can move this up to whatever percentage you feel is necessary, and then the other cost vectors or the other value vectors will change. And as you change that, you actually see what ideas bubble to the top when you weight them at that specific weighting. Say next quarter you want to focus a little bit more on customer satisfaction, you can change that, and then again the ideas will bubble to the top that receive the highest scores based on that weighting. So this is definitely a very simple explanation of it. It's a very robust way of looking at your organization's priorities, looking at the ideas that have come in, and figuring out what ideas based on what you decide is important for that quarter, that fiscal year, that period, are the best ideas to maximize the ROI. And so that's actually all I had to cover today. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll take any questions.
Wow, that's all you had to cover, Matt.
That was it.
That
Yep.
was quite the marathon you just ran yourself. I like that quote that you threw in there in the middle where intent meets action.
There you go.
That's very nice. Little inspirational quote in the middle of our presentation.
I think everyone listening was quickly scribbling it down.
Well, we did have a question that came in actually pretty early, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask it right away, which
Sure.
is, does IdeaScale have an established contract with NIH, or how can an individual institute establish a collaboration with IdeaScale?
Yes, we actually do have a contract with NIH. We have an IDIQ contract with NIH. If you don't know what that means, I'd be happy to expand. Just feel free to get in touch with me, and I will give you more details. But yes, we do have a contract in place with NIH.
That's wonderful. And what your email for the record, Matt, that everybody can reach you
Yes,
at?
it is matt.paulson@ideascale.com. Same spelling is right up here.
Oh, thank you.
matt.paulson at ideascale.com.
The visual aids and everything. Thank you, Matt. We have
My pleasure.
another question coming in here. Who determines the language of the site, like the different statuses and everything? Is everything editable?
Yes, absolutely. Everything is in your control. And all of the instructions on how to do that are on in our knowledge base, but also, as an account manager, as your account manager, I'm happy to help you as well. But all of the language, yes, is editable within the site.
Awesome. Another question we have here is that Phone Co looks very different from NIH Rocks. How flexible is the community's look and feel, and who should make those changes?
Yeah, as far as the look and feel, the sky's the limit. With custom CSS, you can make the site look and feel however you want. Also, with that custom landing page, it really is just a blank canvas. You can make it look however you want. If you have somebody in-house who can do the custom CSS, they're welcome to do it. If you have a contractor that you contract with, say a front-end developer, you can use them as well. And then also that's part of what we offer at IdeaScale is your own custom CSS. You sort of dream it up and we make it happen.
All right. There's no immediate questions coming in. I guess we'll see if you have anything to ask, go ahead and type it into the questions feed and we'll answer it. But I think that looks like that's it. So thank you, Matt, for the presentation today. A very excellent sprint through all of the different functionality. Um, and obviously,
It
if you
was
have
my pleasure.
any other questions, go ahead and email Matt or myself, jessica.day@ideascale.com, and we're glad to answer any questions that you might have about the tool. Thanks a lot, Matt.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.